And yeah, we got it going. So this is going to be one of them, Christopher.
We're starting Mike here. Sorry. We live?
We're live.
All right. Hello, everybody.
Yeah.
Welcome back to the podcast, Nick.
You're going to sit and watch it that way, or you're going to sit and watch me?
I guess I'll watch the camera. There we go.
Okay.
All right. Crack a beer.
Yeah, crack a beer. This is going to be the most casual... I won't. This is going to be the most casual podcast. This podcast is sponsored by Miller Lite.
Thank you, Miller Lite.
My first time having a beer on the podcast. And then it's also sponsored by Sarah.
Thank you, Sarah.
She doesn't even realize it.
Yeah, I didn't realize either.
Thanks, baby. Do you know why it's sponsored? Because we're in her house, on her couch.
Ah, yes.
So
I'll hear about it later.
Yeah. Yeah. So, how are you feeling?
Good. Yeah, we just had I guess there was a few athletes that have competed before, but kind of like my first meet back since 2018. So that's what, 8 years? Yeah, 8 years since I've competed. So the local meet we had here in Woodstock, all comers kind of meet. Like, I was facing like 5 or 8 year olds and like all the way up to like 60-year-olds. So it's kind of a mixed bag of competitors. And it was a great meet. Low key, 5 minutes from here, and yeah, it was good to be back.
Yeah. So for those who are tuning in, Chris runs a track and field club called Retired Athletics. Mm-hmm. I would call it a social sprinting group.
Very good.
Instead of it being a distance group.
Yeah.
And so it's a bit more traditional track and field events.
Yeah.
Yes, there were. I don't know how young that one kid was, but he was tiny.
I felt kind of bad. Well, he actually put a good fight, so it was good. Yeah, I think he throw into the fire, right?
Yeah, there was no age category, so Chris isn't wrong that he competed against someone who was in his 60s and someone who was probably not quite 10 or maybe 11.
Yeah, they're a really weird mixed bag of people.
Yeah, and here's the cool thing: is anyone can do it.
Yes.
I think what was really cool is there was two way older people that stood out. There was a male and a woman, mm-hmm. or a male and a female, and the female looked really good for someone who's probably also in their 60s or 70s.
Yeah. So
I stopped her when I'm going to go to the bathroom to the school. Said, "Hey, really good job. Congratulations."
Yeah.
She said, "Oh, it's nothing."
Yeah.
It's not nothing. She's got only white hair.
Yeah.
But as a trainer, I'm not checking out her body like, oh, she's got a rocking body, but you could see arm definition, mm-hmm. leg definition. She moves like someone who's 20 to 30 years younger than her.
Yeah.
And she said, "Oh, and then she brought up, well, my daughter does bodybuilding, and I'm just trying to keep up." I was like, "Oh, that's cool. She must be so proud of you."
Yeah.
Right? And she's like, "I don't know how people do bodybuilding. That's so hard." I'm like, "Oh, okay."
It's up your alley.
So she's trying to downplay what she's doing.
Right. Yeah.
And I think that was pretty cool. So she looked like she had been doing it for a while. I think she did 100, 200. I saw her do a triple jump.
Did she do all 3 today?
I think she did that.
Holy smokes.
And
here I am only running the 100 meter.
Yeah.
Being sissy about it.
And then there was another guy, and you talked to him a little bit more.
Yeah.
But he was in his 60s.
I'd say 60. Yeah. He said he hasn't ran since high school. He just started up again this year. And he did a great job.
For his age?
Yeah.
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 I was telling your dad when we were watching, it's like, okay, like, that's a great goal.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you had some great competition out there.
Yeah. And honestly, I got humbled a little bit too. I mean, I came second overall, but the guy who won, he was probably more like a veteran as far as sprinter. Grade 11, he said, and ran 11:11. So that was a PB for him, but he was ecstatic about it. But yeah, I think that was like my only real main competition in my heat.
Was a grade 11.
Was a grade 11 guy. Yeah,
he was tiny.
He was a small guy, but he was a rocky. He beat me right at the first start.
I saw his calves, and his calves looked pretty defined.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if that's how you can tell if the sprinter's like legit.
Yeah.
They're tiny, but like sharp.
Yeah. Well, actually, it was funny because I was listening to his block start because I was like right next to him, and he was lane 3, I was lane 4, and I just heard his I didn't even see him go when he was doing his practice start. I just heard his footwork. I was like, oh, this guy's legit. I could hear the sound of his foot strike.
From my angle, because I was starting at the start, it looked like he got a better jump than you.
Mm-hmm.
Were you catching up on it? Like if it was a 200, could you have opened up more?
Maybe a little bit. I don't think so. I think he was pretty out there, and he knew what he was doing, and he was pretty confident that he could take the win. But yeah, he definitely got a jump on me. He didn't gain too much distance from me. 200, I think, would be a little too short to catch him again.
Okay.
But I think he's got that. He's probably got that speed endurance still too.
To make you feel better, you're more of a 400-meter hurdle guy.
I was, yes. And that's funny because the one coach I met a few people I've known Pat in the past there. One of the coaches from Western, he was watching my block start. I've known for a long time, Harry, and he saw my block start, like my practice one. He says, "Hey man, that's a 400-meter hurdler, a 400-meter starter." I was like, "Yeah, I'm trying. It's just I can't get there yet. It's just I don't have that fast twitch anymore." But yeah, I think that was the one thing that kind of was my downside today was just the start, because I just haven't done a lot of blocks. And again, the guy next to me, he was like 10 meters out in front before I even got the blocks, it seemed like. So
I would say that's where, yeah, in 100, you lose it at the beginning almost.
Yeah. And I was never a 100-meter guy either. So, and I did go into the goal of having a sub 12 time in the 100 today. In the heats, I ran 12:11, and then in the final, I ran 11:95. So I just snuck under my goal.
I was just about to ask. I didn't know what your second time was.
Yeah, it was 11:95. So
okay.
I just snuck under. But my PB back from high school was like 10:91 or something like
Basically
that.
a whole second.
Basically a whole second off. Yeah, which is okay. Yeah.
How do you feel about losing a second, quote unquote, considering you haven't done really sprint work? Like you have, but you haven't.
Right.
You're not trying to PB.
No, and it's very passive, like kind of workout group that we have. We meet twice a week, and then sometimes it's only an hour, sometimes an hour and a half. On the rare occasion, it goes a full 2 hours. But I was telling, who was I telling this the other day? I think it was you actually. Practicing Friday. Like it has to be a minimum of 3 times a week, like in full throttle. Plus, my current career is like not very cohesive with the training. Like working construction 4 days a week. 12 hours a day, and then trying to recover like the Friday, Sunday is just it's not meant to like kind of be together and like help me get faster. So I think if I were to really take it seriously again, which I don't know I will, right now I'm having fun with it, I think I have to change careers again and then find something a little more less backbreaking.
Because when you were done with school, you didn't want to go into labor-intensive jobs, so you could have the energy to train. I remember that.
Yeah, especially coming like home for the summers from university, like I was always trying to avoid working in kitchens and construction. But I ended up working in kitchens anyway, which was kind of a pain in the butt. But at the time, that's all that was available to me, so I just had to take it. But now, after my university years, I was thinking, I'm done track. I just want to make some money. So I ended up kind of going into construction just for the money. But now I'm kind of I'm bored now. I want to get back on the track. Now it's kind of blocking me, I think, from getting faster.
Which you're 32.
32.
Most people would say after 30, you're going to slow down anyway. So for you to be a second off, that's actually really good.
It's not bad, yeah. I can't complain. I was humbled a little bit today. I thought I was going to go a little faster, but it's okay.
Were you humbled because you thought you'd be faster or because you got beat by
I wasn't surprised by the kid in grade 11. He looked fast, and they can run like pretty low fast times too. So I wasn't surprised by that. But it was more just I thought I could run faster, just based off what my PB was and how I felt too. I felt pretty fast, but even like today, I felt a little flat. I was like, I don't want any excuses either, but I felt a little. I woke up this morning thinking like, I don't feel springy. I don't feel energetic. I just feel kind of flat. And I think that translated into the runs today. But I'm not trying to make excuses, but
yeah. Fair.
Yeah, no, now that I have like a sub 12 second still under my belt now, I think I might try out Athletics Ontario Championships coming up later this summer. So
what's that look like?
That'll probably be August, I think. And I think I'm not sure where it is actually. I have to look that up. I was intending to go, but it was really based off how I did today.
Are we going to get a 400-meter hurdle?
Not this year, no. I was talking to a few other guys too. They asked me, you run hurdles again this year? Because that was my main event, 400 hurdles and 110 hurdles. And I said, I don't have the flexibility for the high hurdles, and I don't have the endurance for the 400 hurdles anymore. So here, I think I'm just going to have fun this summer, just break off the cobwebs of the non-competition and just focus on the 100 and maybe run a 200. That'd be the first I run this year.
Why would you not focus on 1 and 2?
I think my body just can't handle it right now. And for as interesting, a lot of the guys we had up today for retired athletics who were competing, Some of them ran the 800, the 1500, and then also the 100. And it was all back to back to back to back. And in my head, I was thinking, like, that's a little tough. Like, I mean, they're just some of them are distance guys, so they can handle a little bit. They can handle the load. But for me, who knows? It was a pure sprinter. It's more about just quality, and rather than just trying to get a workout in. Basically, that's their workout style, which is fine. But for me, I knew like going from a 100, having a 30-minute break, going right to a 200, and maybe another half hour to go back to the 100 final. My body would break down, and the times wouldn't be there anyway.
So, as a practice for you to get into August, what is your July and is it start or end of August?
I have to look at that. I think it's probably mid-August, I guess.
So let's say you have 5 weeks, 6 weeks for the. What's that going to look like? Are you going to change anything, or are you just going to do 2 a week?
Probably keep it to 2 weeks. I just, again, with my workload, I just can't handle anything more. I probably might incorporate a little more resistance training, because that's why I felt it was a little lagging, just be able to pick it up speed, and maybe some more technique work out of the blocks. I think that's where I really lost it, just popping up too fast out of the blocks and then just going into that running phase rather than keep holding that drive phase. And at this point in the season, you can't change too much. It's really just technical stuff, and maybe add a little bit of resistance training, which I think we've kind of neglected in the past few weeks, just because we haven't had that time to do it. I actually haven't touched weights for months, which is, I think, also another thing I'm kind of lacking in right now. Again, just like the workload, not able to go to the gym on weekends because I'm doing the track stuff as well. So I think in the future I'll have to reincorporate the weight training and use that as a lever to increase my speed again.
Well, I was thinking about this actually. Just talk about it. I would be more than happy to write a general program that's 1 or 2 times a week for athletic performance specific to retired athletics that people can complement, and it can be something as I like to go through phases. So depends on but you do a phase 1, a phase 2, and a phase 3. When you're done phase 3, you can circle back to 1, and each one can be 3 weeks long. And then you can also time it where it's like maybe you spread it out to 4 weeks, or you condense it to 2 weeks. Or if you know that a phase is going to be better leading into like races and stuff, then you can double that up, or you can jump to that one right away.
Yeah.
So for example, you have your basic, just foundational strength.
Yeah.
And then you're going to have more of a speed strength, which is much lighter weight, but you move quick.
Yeah.
And then you have to have either accessory, correctional / a little bit more mobility-esque focused.
Yep.
Of a deload almost. Yeah. And those would be like the 3 main phases: strength, speed strength, mobility, recovery.
Yeah.
Right? 3 weeks, 3 weeks, 3 weeks. So that's a 9-week block. But for example, if I had somebody and I already knew what they were doing before, it'd be really easy to say, hey, you know what? Just go into the number 2 for 2 weeks and then do phase 3 for 1 week right before your race. Because you probably don't want to go heavy right before.
Yeah, not typically. I mean, it's depending what league you're in. Like in college, we typically lifted pretty heavy leading up to like a general competition, but leading into our major competition, we would lighten the load, be more explosive and faster, like lighter reps, maybe more reps, but just like lighter weight.
Because even for me, it's like I've been training more as a bodybuilder, especially with the upper body of late. Lower body's still a bit more functional, but still heavy, and it's a grinding, not a speed.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like, okay, if I was going to change mine, what would that be? And then here's another thing. I've been telling you that like I can really feel it in my calves because I'm wearing barefoot. So my feet and calves have to work extra hard.
Yeah.
And I started adding in isometric calf raises.
Yeah.
And that helps a lot because tendons love tissue. The guy running the 800, not Jonathan, what was his name? Jordan.
Yeah.
So he mentioned that his hamstring felt a little. And that was also where the wheels were going in my head of like, it really wouldn't be that hard to write something that people can do also at home and or with some light resistance bands for at home. Because not everyone's going to have access to, gym. Not everyone wants a long period of time too. Yeah. So that could even be something that we just sit down and write out a couple of programs. I would make them free for retired athletics. Okay. And that could be my contribution. And I even put it on my website, like these programs and stuff. So I just put it on the website. And then you even have, this is how my brain works. Then you have a podcast episode explaining how people modify it, how people can adapt it to their own self. And then also it's like, yeah, this is a good 9-week block. And when you're done week 9, you just circle back with 1, but you go a little heavier.
Yeah.
And you just rinse, repeat. Or you know your body now that you've done it at least once, you can make your own adjustments, right? And that's a lot of programming in a nutshell. It's how does it bridge with things in the past? How does it bridge with things in the future? But yeah, I'll think that would be a good activity for us to do.
That'd be great. I think it's what we're missing, to be honest. Yeah, it's strength training.
And like I said, I'm more than happy to help with that. And I would even say, hey, this is what I'm imagining. What's your experience based off of slightly different track knowledge?
Mm-hmm.
But then also, I have a really good pulse of what people can handle when they're deconditioned.
Right. Yeah.
I know you would too, with some degree, because you were a little deconditioned coming into retired athletics before you started it.
Yeah.
It is so humbling how much less that you need.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, 100%.
So, and that's also what's impressive is like, have you ever heard of the couch to 5K?
Yeah, yeah.
So it's the same idea. Couch to 100 meters.
There you go. Yeah, it's a little less, but it's probably a little more demanding on the body in different ways, more explosive training. But yeah, that's a good. I like that.
Yeah, we'll work on that.
Good marketing name for it.
Yeah,
Personally.
and for me, it's been great to kind of see the older. Really highlight the older people today. Like that's actually a bit inspiring.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, 100%.
How do you feel when you see them?
I want to be like them, but I want to like maybe I think I'm not sure what the woman's trajectory, whatever journey was. Maybe she was training through all that time. But I met this gentleman we met, Jim, I think his name was, and he said he just started up again this year after 50 years of not doing that kind of stuff, and he says like anyone can do it.
She said the exact same word. Anyone can do it.
Yeah. So it's out there. If people want to get back into it, it's not too late. You just gotta slowly ramp up again. Like you can't just jump into sprints right away. And I actually listened to a podcast last night actually. Was it mine? No, it wasn't. Not this time. The one podcast I didn't listen to wasn't yours. I forget the guy's name. But he's a pretty big kinesiologist kind of guy. He had this professor at Stanford, and he had Huberman, yes, and he had on the one of the best sprint coaches in the world on with him from Altus. Finger mashes his Instagram handle. Stuart McMillan, I think his name is. Anyway, he was saying, where were we going with this?
Old people sprinting.
Old people with sprinting. Yeah, he was saying it can be done. And there's different variations of how people can get back into sprinting. Well, most people can't sprint anymore, and there's different phases to get back up to sprinting. Obviously, there's walking, there's jogging, and then he called it strides, which is kind of like a skip. They're skipping as they're skipping as well. Walking, jogging, skipping is a good one, and then strides, and then sprinting. Sprinting is full maximal running, basically, is 100% output. And then strides are, 75 to 95, 99 kind of thing. Probably 95.
So I've been striding.
Yeah, I think most of it's been stride, actually, because I don't even think we did too much of the maximal output for sprints in training. Maybe once or twice, it's fast days, but for the most part, we've just been mostly striding. And that's what most people just need, actually, at our age. Like, we don't really need to go full maximum, because that's when typically, if you're not warmed up properly or older ages and you're not conditioned, that's when injuries typically.
So this is interesting, kind of rough numbers. So by all means, correct me if I'm wrong. The audience, most people are about 50% of their maximal strength for muscle.
Mm-hmm.
Then when you actually train yourself, you unlock 60, 70, 75%.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a high-level athlete, you're closer to 80, 90%. Because too much force on the muscle, you are more likely to pull it. So think of that full-out 100% sprint. Unless you're well-trained, you're going to pull a hammy.
Yeah.
So even today, do you think there was a small part of you that's like 95%, I'm not going to go 100%? Or were you going 100%?
I would say I was probably 95%. And I knew that going in. Even like by finals, I felt a little tight in the hamstring. And I was like, this doesn't feel good. I did have to physically kind of hold myself back. When I was racing, I actually felt I allowed myself to go to the point where I knew I wasn't going to hurt myself. If I go on past that, I knew I was going to be in trouble. But later on in the race, I felt pretty loosened up, so I was able to try and open up a little bit more. But I still had that lingering thought in my head, like, don't go too hard because you're going to hurt yourself.
And it's when people aren't thinking about stuff like that. Like, let's say they're in the middle of a sport, soccer, for example. Right now, the World Cup's going on, and it's like, oh, I gotta get to that ball right now, or the other team's gonna get it, and we're down by one. We gotta, and then they pull a hammy.
Yes.
Right. Baseball's a good example of liking out to first base. Right, and they're trying to beat it out, and then their hammy just pulls on them, and they grab the back of the hamstring. The body actually overrides that mechanism when it's a life or death situation. Because if you're getting chased by a tiger,
right, it's what's more important.
Pulling a hammy does not matter. So same thing with like strength and pulling a car off of a kid. Yeah. We've heard of that before, where people summon this human power strength. And so the more you train your body, the more you're able to unlock it without, what's it called? Feeling like you're gonna pull it because the body knows what it's gonna do.
Right.
The body's gonna allow you to access that. So I think that's a thing that's important as we get older. If you don't use it, you lose it. And your body knows it's gonna hurt itself sprinting.
Yeah.
But imagine being a 45-year-old parent. I'm going to sell this idiot to the parents. Your kid's running around, and they're about to run into traffic.
Yeah.
Yelling's not going to work. You sprint after them.
Yeah.
You probably save them, and then like later in the day, oh, my back.
Yeah.
My
hamstrings. Yeah. 100%.
Yeah. But no, I totally agree that it would be good to get that access back, and that's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah. You never know when you might need to tap into it.
For me, maybe you're closer to this than I am. Playing with the kids. Now, I've been doing the big brother stuff, so it's funny, like playing basketball with my little, and with Valentino and stuff. And then I think I told you how I rolled my ankle. And it's like, that makes you feel so old. For those who don't know, I do the Big Brother program, and I call him my little. I'm not going to use his name because of privacy stuff. And I'm teaching him a bit aggressive basketball. He's like 11. It's not size. And then he like bumps into me a little bit, and then my ankle just goes. I'm like, oh. And I could just feel it. So I just instantly went down rather than trying to like fight it. It was fine within like a couple days. But then I remember going to practice. I'm like, I'm not going to run today.
Yeah.
Just take it easy.
Humbling experience.
It's so humbling. And I've already had like major injuries, so I want to keep that access as long as possible. I don't know if Brandon will listen to this, but like I've been telling Brandon, you gotta come out. Yeah. It's gonna be the next thing. How do you sell somebody to come back into sprints?
How do you sell it to them? Well, I think kind of like we were talking about, like you need to be able to tap into that ability, and a lot of people lose it, especially after like as early as probably after high school. And some people probably lose it even in high school. 16 years old, 18 years old, early 20s. Like, so after that, like major, like when they play sports or when they're playing the playground, they lose that ability to sprint. And then, like you said, also, if you don't use it, you'll lose it. And the longer you wait, it is harder to get it back. So I would say for anyone that's looking to get started to sprinting again and they haven't done it, maybe go through the systems that we talked about earlier as well. You know, can you walk? Great. Can you jog? Great. If you can't, if you can jog, try skipping. Skipping's a good exercise, and it's also a pattern in the body that's similar. It's more closer to sprinting mechanics rather than jogging. Jogging's very kind of closed up, and you're kind of going on heel toe, more of a strike on your foot. Whereas skipping, it's more like you have that propulsion forward. Your hips are moving forward with it too, right? You can skip. And you can skip for distance, and you can try strides.
You're thinking skip. I want to clarify. Not skipping rope.
Correct. Skipping forward. Skipping
like hopscotch.
Yeah. Or like if you're like a little kid frolicking through the field, basically. It looks kind of childish, but is an underrated exercise that people are not tapping into. That's like the first step, getting back into sprinting. And then we talk about strides, which is basically just a pulled back version of fast running or sprinting, say. And then but again, just to sell the point, again, just if you don't use it, you'll lose it. And if you never know in that situation, we might need to tap into it again. Kids run into the traffic, or if you just want to be competitive, just want to feel good again. I love the sensation of running fast too. Just even strides feel so good. Your body's just intact with itself, and your timing underneath your body, the coordination it takes, and it just helps everywhere else in life as well.
So. A couple thoughts off there. Circling back to how it makes you feel. When it makes me smile. The 800 today, because that was probably my favorite race. Go-to race. It sucks, but it is.
Yeah.
That and the steeple. So those two were like my jam. At the starting line, they're in a bit of a curve.
Yep.
That nostalgia feeling, like I got butterflies and a little nervous seeing them get ready for that.
Yeah.
And that was an interesting feeling because I'm just watching.
Yeah.
Right? But it's different from watching TV. Watching live, like, maybe I'll do an 800 one day.
Yeah.
I think I would have to do a 400 first. And I would have to do a 400 practice. I'm also like, I'm going to say 50 pounds heavier than most of my races. Maybe 40 to 50. Like, I'm a fat ass now.
You guys gain some weight.
I'm a little chub.
A good weight.
Yeah. Thank you. What was the feeling today for you?
Mm-hmm. Well, it was a little nerve-wracking. I mean, I going in, I knew I wanted to just have fun with it because I didn't expect any big times. So I think for today, for me, I actually suppressed the nerves pretty well. Again, it was low-end meets, no big names, there's like one fast kid that beat me and that was okay. And I was chit-chatting with everybody going into it. So I really wanted to suppress the nerves going into it and just have fun with it and be loose and have fun. And again, I'm just trying not to injure myself. If I knew the more nerves I had, the more chance I had of injuring myself. So, but again, there's a little bit of like butterfly going into it, especially when I was in the final, when I knew there was like at least one guy that could potentially beat me. He did. But I think for today, it was, I think I managed the butterfly and stomach symptoms.
Good feeling though?
It was good. It was great. It was fun. It was fun, right? I think I'm the same mentality as the older lady and gentleman there. Just, anyone can have it. We're just out here having fun, not trying to prove anything. Just getting back into it.
And when was the last time you raced?
It was 2018, so it was my debut back, and I was pretty happy with it. Thought I could have gone faster, but I was still happy with it.
A win's a win.
Yeah.
Another thing to circle back on, you're talking about coordination with sprint mechanics and how important it is for people to bring that back. I heard somewhere, and I'm pretty sure it's true, again, correct me if I'm wrong, but from a healthy brain standpoint, like resistance training and weightlifting is one of the best things you can do. Dance actually is the top. I don't know if you've heard that.
Yeah, coordination. Yeah.
It's the coordination. Resistance training, because it's very different and unique, because there's a lot of different coordinations, and healthy muscle tissue is really good for diabetes, and preventing diabetes is really good for your brain.
Yeah.
And so a lot of what keeps your brain healthy, people think, oh, I want to keep my brain healthy, so I'm going to do Sudoku. That's cool.
Yeah.
Exercise is infinitely better than brain exercise. Is funny enough for brain health.
Yeah.
We don't think of it as a brain exercise. I want to say somewhere that I heard that sprinting is also one of the better things, because to have a healthy brain that can coordinate sprinting has to keep you has to keep your longevity so much more. So it's kind of true that if you're keeping up your sprints as you age, it's got to help with your brain health. And I don't know how much you know or have heard about anything.
I'm not much, but I seem to check out.
Do you want to speculate on it?
Sure, yeah, let's see.
Okay, so there's a thing called BDNF when you exercise, even just walking reduces it. Brain-derived neurotrophic factor, and it helps with just blood flow to the brain, neurons get built up, things like that.
Yeah.
Nothing crazy. Exercise will do that, and sprinting, in my opinion, is closer related to strength training than it actually is with cardio.
Jog.
Yeah, just going out for a jog. And there's nothing wrong with going out for a jog.
No, it's weird too.
The coordination, unless you're at a high level, isn't always there. You're not worried about mechanics. How much do you have to think about visually think about, or get a feel for how your body's moving when you're sprinting?
It's way different for sure. It's definitely more coordination involved. But for me, now I don't really think about it anymore. Just it's kind of instilled into my routine. If I looked at the back in a video from today's race, I would compare it to when I ran like 8 years ago, and it would be night and day, because I did feel my hips sinking, my foot strike was not probably where it should be. Whereas jogging, it's very just closed up, and you can just kind of run within, they say sprinting is very expressive, and like jogging is more like kind of like controlled in here. Where sprinting is very expressive, you gotta get nice and big movements, big levers, your arm movement, your knee drive, where your foot lands underneath your center of mass. That all plays into good sprinting mechanics. So it is comparatively from jogging. There is a little more involved when it comes to
And by no means jogging, they're still technique.
100%. And like watching marathon guys run, like they're not no average Joe either.
Yeah.
They're doing some special things there too.
But I would say that they almost run more like a normal middle distance runner runs.
Mm-hmm.
They just have extended it out.
Yes.
They're not going out for an easy jog.
Yeah.
Right? Middle distance, like we had to go through the similar running drills.
Mm-hmm.
What's the 800 is just a sprint.
Yeah. Elongated sprinters.
Yeah. But I totally understand how you're talking about that. So the audience can pick on me with you.
Mm-hmm.
You saw me sprint 2 days ago.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, oh, it looks pretty good. Okay, it's okay. What are some things that you would notice in someone like me who A, wasn't actually a sprinter to begin with?
Mm-hmm.
My mom said that. She's like, well, you weren't really a sprinter. Yeah, but I know the benefits of it. And B, also just compared to, I guess, what a normal sprinter would be. Someone who doesn't actually have a sprinting background.
Mm-hmm.
What do you see in someone like me versus what do you want to see?
Mm-hmm.
Think about that.
Yeah, I was trying to remember the video a little bit from a couple days ago that I took. From what I recall,
Doesn't even have to be.
actually, I thought it looked pretty good, to be honest. Like, I was pretty happy where you were with that. But
How about what you've seen over the last couple months of me running?
yeah, I would say I think you've gotten taller. I think you were kind of. It's weird to say because I think there is a bit of a key to like as far as rotations in the spine. I know you were kind of mentioning that you're really emphasizing the rocking back and forth the shoulders a little bit. I thought you were doing a little too much, but I think you heard that from somewhere where like the rotation in the spine.
And maybe that's more on the distance side.
It could have been, yeah.
Right.
But I did see. Keep in mind, I think I don't know too much about like the nitty gritty stuff. That's more like high level coaches. But they do mention that a little bit of like spine rotation, a little bit of the shoulders going back and forth is okay. I think you're just emphasizing a little too much because you want to kind of keep the chest mostly both positioned to the finish line, right, for the most part. But there can be some more expression. You can move the hands and the shoulders a little bit more. From what I recall, like your first two steps in the video seemed a little shallow, kind of like tap, 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 rather than like boom, boom. What's that metrodome kind of rhythm where it goes boom, 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 boom. Maybe it's a little quicker. Not metrodome, but from you, it just kind of like you just spin the wheels right away, like kind of a train track almost, train on tracks. Whereas a sprinter, it should be your first few steps should be more powerful, and they just get quicker as they go along. So it's boom. Sprinting basically, where I think you just kind of went into not the drive phase, but the upright position, basically sprinting almost right away. So that's the main thing I really saw. But other like I know people were kind of getting it. Not I think
Just Brandon.
Yeah, I think Bryce in the screenshot when he said it was pretty funny. But I think it was kind of just pulling me leg a little bit. I thought it looked pretty good for a guy who was not a sprinter.
Fair.
Yeah,
I'll take it.
yeah.
I want to work on the mechanics again. If I'm going to say a quote, you tell me what you think about it when it comes to sprinting. And I've mentioned this to you before, I think, during practice. So there's a Japanese practice of archery where the goal isn't to hit the target, it's to make the draw of the bow look flawless and let the shot look flawless, not necessarily if it's on target or not. What do you think about that when it comes to sprints?
Mm-hmm. So I guess in this situation, the target might be the time that you're trying to run, whereas by how it looks like you're sprinting. I mean, at our age, I think time's not so as important as long as you can have like body awareness of what you're doing, how you're striking the ground, how you're moving. I would say that's probably a little more important compared to like maybe what times you're running at our age. And everybody's doing it for fun, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, unless you're running it looks like crap and you're running 9.9, then that's great. But I don't think we're people who are running 9.9, they are not, or they don't look like amateurs, they look like professionals. So they kind of, I would say for sure, how you draw the bow back definitely plays into your sprinting mechanics and your sprinting times and your performance.
I like to think of it as there's a difference between precision and accurate.
Mm-hmm.
And you can be precision but not accurate. You can be accurate but not precise.
Mm-hmm.
And being precise usually means you're very consistent,
mm-hmm.
even if it's off target. Accurate means are you hitting the target or not, right? And I think it's more important to be precise. So being precise with your movement, even if you're not accurate to the time that you want to get.
Right.
Then over time, if you are precise enough and you're consistent enough, you'll probably get faster. That's how I think of it. So I think it's more important to be precise with your movement.
Yeah.
And be intentional. And I'm all about that when it comes to lifting weights. Like, hey, do this. Why? Well, it doesn't necessarily matter for today's workout, but next time, next week, next month, next year, these little tiny things are going to add up. So let's be a bit more precise.
Yeah.
100%. So that's kind of how.
Yeah, I could say that's probably true. And there's also like the extreme on the other end where people are becoming they're trying to be too precise maybe, and they're almost too focused on like, oh, like how are my shins looking in my blocks? Are they the right projection coming out of the blocks, or where's my head here in like the drive phase? I think people sometimes overanalyze. And what's that term? Like
Analysis by paralysis.
Analysis prior to paralysis. Yes.
Or paralysis by analysis.
Yes. So I think that can also play into it as well, where they just think too much about it and rather just get a feeling for how to sprint. But in the long run, probably that's probably more like the elites that are really worried about that kind of stuff. If you're just starting off, I would just more get the feeling of like how sprinting should feel rather than like in the nitty gritty stuff.
And how I think about this too is imagine someone's running. I'm gonna now sell this idea like the people who do 5Ks, 10Ks, marathons.
Mm-hmm.
If you have really impeccable technique, probably more likely to go into a flow state versus if you're trying to muscle it out.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen people trying to muscle out
It's hard to watch, painful to watch.
The running, very much so, right? Because they're so tired.
Yeah.
And now mechanics drop, and they're just using muscles, knee drive. And it's like, well, there should be a flow to it. There's a bounce to it.
Mm-hmm.
I think, and this is really interesting. I don't know if you ever did gymnastics as a kid.
I did.
Kids that did gymnastics, because it's ingrained when their brain is so plastic, it sticks with them almost for life.
Yeah.
I did a lot of running, specifically like distance running as a kid. My mom said I always looked very natural with running.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what I was good at it. It wasn't like I was this superstar track getting fucking offer scholarships all over the place. But like, I think I was pretty good at it. Yeah. Thank you. Comes a lot from you. But even coming back to it, because I have a background in it, my brain's going to be able to pick it up much quicker, right? Neurons that fire together wire together, and I have that wiring. It's just a bit hidden.
Yeah.
Versus somebody who's fresh, they're going to look like Bambi.
100%. And I've seen that too. I also coach like high school kids as well, and it's sometimes the little younger guys as well. But you can kind of tell like, who played like multi sports or like had like multi-directional movements early on in life, and you can really see guys who had no exposure to any other sports or any other kind of physical activities. And then I can really tell that the dancers and the gymnasts as well, because they have the coordination and a lot of the pointed toe as well. It's still ingrained in them a lot of the time, which is very typical for a dancer to point their toes. And we're doing like A skips and they're still pointing their toes down. It's like, no, toe up now because we're not doing gymnastics or dance. Also, I had one kid as well a while back, and the most uncoordinated guy I've ever seen. And he was pretty quick, but like just having to do like the most basic drills was a real struggle for him. And I asked him, have you played any other sports? Like what's kind of going on? I was like, no, this is my first sport that I've ever played. I was like, oh, okay, well, that kind of makes sense. And it could just kind of ties back into what you were saying.
So thinking of the older woman,
Mm-hmm.
I actually think that she's probably been doing it for a while.
Yeah.
And she definitely did it a lot, probably at a high level as a youth.
Yeah.
I don't know what you think.
Just based on, I actually didn't see her run, fortunately.
Fair.
Yeah.
I think she looks more fluid than the guy.
Is that right?
I think so. But he's also hasn't done it in a long...
He's pretty raw, yeah.
Yeah.
He's come back to it after 50 years. And I don't know how competitive he was in high school or something.
And how do you feel? So there were some youth. How do you feel about some of those youth when they were running? Did you see too many of them?
I mean, I saw a few. Well, I was so fast. They were up at my back. I couldn't see them. No, I'm just kidding. I didn't see too many of them, to be honest. But glad they're doing track, especially at an early age. But I'd also like to see them doing other sports if you want to see progression later on in life. Because I think some people skip the idea of like, oh, just when they're at a young age, just focus right away on one sport. That's probably not going to benefit them later on in life. They might be decent now, like they might be killing it now, but they're going to face some consequences later on in life.
There was one girl, tiny, almost felt like she was she's half the size of like the teenage girls. She was running against them. She was close to beating him in like the 100 and stuff. I don't know if you saw that one.
I might have said that one.
And apparently she did a bunch of the other races too.
Yeah, I think I caught her 200 maybe, or maybe 300. And like she came second in that month. Like,
and her stride was long for someone who was in the shirt. So I was really impressed with her.
Yeah. So she might be a prodigy, like for her age. So we'll see how she progresses later on. But
and I agree, doing multiple sports.
Early on, I would say.
Yeah. What year did you specialize?
I specialized in my 9th grade. So yeah, that was pretty typical for a lot of guys I trained with. Is like 8th, 9th grade, and that was my coach's philosophy. It's like by the time you get to high school, like you need to focus just on track.
To be fair, a lot of track guys still do football, soccer, but they might make those the focus and track complements it.
Mm-hmm.
But if you want to go really far in track, you probably do need to
focus on that. Yeah,
it's the injury.
It is the injury, and that was my whole coach's philosophy too. Is if you're like I had some teammates that play volleyball or football, and they're falling on their people's foot and they're rolling their ankles and they're getting knee surgery because they're a running back in football, and they were both like they're like all of them are prodigies, right? Like they're national champions, and then just like slight injuries over and over again because they're playing different sports really hindered their track career. Because in track, you always have to be at your top best, right? Like in other sports like football, hockey, you can kind of be at 8. Like when they play, they're probably only at 80%
because they're always a little hurt anyway.
Yeah, so there's like they're never like fully at the potential every time they play a game. Whereas track, you have to be on your 99.9% healthy and your potential at those races. Otherwise, you're done basically.
And those sports, like I'll use Messi. I don't know if you've seen much of his games this year.
Let's see a few of them. Yeah,
he's using his mind
to
play. Like he knows, and he knows exactly what he's supposed to do. And I think there was a good example against Cape Verde where she watched that game.
I heard it was crazy to watch.
Yeah,
they gave a show.
He was like telling the one player before the goal, "Is like do this," and then like right after that, the player just made that little adjustment, gets it to Messi, and he scores.
Mm-hmm.
So he can play with his mind.
Yeah.
And that makes up for his lack of speed because he's 30 now. He's still fast.
Yeah.
But still not, it's not like physically necessarily like the same. Tom Brady is a good example. He's 44. Physically not necessarily as highly potential, but his brain, his processes. Right. In track, there's no
shortcuts.
It's cerebral.
Yeah.
Sure, maybe you can make an argument when it's a strategic race in like, let's say 800, 1500.
Yeah.
Physically, you really still have to be
top tier still.
Yeah.
Yeah, experience does play a big role in those longer distance races. I love watching the 800 actually. I think it's probably one of my favorite races to watch.
I was hoping there'd be a bit more jockeying.
Yeah, a little bit of those out. Yeah. That was good. I mean, I like those because at 400, like everyone's like from 1 to 400, everyone's in their own lane, and it's very much like you said, just whoever can get from starting point to the finish line as fast as possible. There's no strategy. I mean, a little bit because you got to think. There's time to like push and time to kind of like coast.
400.
That's 400, I'd say. And it's a little bit of the 200, but like 100 meters just go into like who is the fastest. And I think that's why most people like watching that at the Olympics for the most part, because there's no real bullshit. It's basically who is the fastest man or woman on the earth at this year or this Olympic cycle. And I think that's why people typically draw to the 100 meter because they want to see Usain Bolt run 9.58 break a world.
We'll see if that happens.
It's going to be a while, I think. But I don't know. I'm seeing a lot of trackflation, as they call it. For those who don't know, it's all these times seem to be dropping. All these times seem to be dropping this year because either the technology is getting better or the kids are eating something different or something in the water.
I think part of it has to be training modalities.
Mm-hmm.
And the more we learn about training, the more we realize we really don't know that much.
Yeah.
But there's something to be said about, like, Usain Bolt was just lifting weights and just running. Like, it wasn't like all this functional shit that sometimes gets out of it. Like,
right.
Keeping it simple.
Yeah, keeping it simple. I mean, I'm sure didn't have to put a big as well, but yeah, it was interesting because I think someone was saying, or his documentary, he said he doesn't run laps. He barely does a warm up essentially. Like, and I'm starting to learn that now too. Like a lot of clubs I work with and I see, like they don't do warm up jogging anymore. And to me, like that was like a staple for our partner. Like 2-lap jog around the track was like a mandatory thing to do at the beginning of practice. Now they're kind of seems like they're phasing it out. And apparently, you're saying never did it either, but
sometimes people can get away with that. Like someone like him probably could get away with that.
Mm-hmm.
I know we had this discussion like runners or sprinters should jog because it's a different pattern. Yeah, walking's a different pattern. skipping's a different pattern.
Yeah.
I totally understand that they probably shouldn't go out for many 5-10K runs.
Correct. Yeah.
Because that's also going to take away volume from there. But I think that that's going to be splitting hairs, and I sometimes have to remind myself of this too with clients. It's like what's optimal isn't always what's easiest for them to follow, and you can sometimes have too much, like you said, optimization, and you get paralysis by analysis. So easy to tell a bunch of kids, and it's organized. Hey, everyone go for a 2-lap jog.
Yeah.
For John, it might actually be 3 laps is better for him because he's genetically different. For you, it might be a lap and a half, but you're not gonna mix that up. It's just 2 laps. It's easy, it's simple, and it's also habitual.
Yeah.
Because now you don't have to think about it. So to me, I think it's good to have ingrained habits that are good enough rather than always worrying about being a perfect routine. Routine of perfection can always change because our bodies always change. To wrap this up, what's next for Christopher Green in retired athletics?
Well, I think, like I said before, I'm considering running at the Athletics Ontario Championships this summer. I haven't decided yet. I'm gonna see how I feel tomorrow if I am shooting.
Comment to make him do it. Peer pressure him.
Yeah, so we'll see. I think that's going to be me later in the summer, but I'm happy to see that we're finally back and competing again. And I want to continue to grow the club as well. So if you're listening to this and you're interested in trying us out, by all means, message us on Instagram at retired.athletics. Shoot me a message, and I'll invite you to the group chat. For that part, I just want to keep growing, get as many people moving again, sprinting or striding again at least, maybe just skipping. I think too many people are going to miss the opportunity of being able to do that again. So I really kind of want to pressure people, and like the time clock is ticking, you might be losing it. Get back out again as fast as possible before you lose it completely. And if you really want to, maybe try competing again if you were a track athlete back in the day.
All right. Actually, I got a couple things for you too that you could, and you can say yay, nay, or oh yeah, let's talk about it more. First one, where's your YouTube channel?
I know, I should make a YouTube channel. Yeah, especially after like today, that good YouTube content.
That also giving people running tips.
True.
How to get back into sprinting and basically just running tip of the week or of the couple weeks or whatnot. So that's one. Because I think the mechanics is so important.
Yeah.
It can just be from your perspective. Hey, here's a couple easy drills next time you're out for a run.
Yeah.
2, you know how like they have like workout of the day?
Mm-hmm.
You can have your, and I know you're getting a website set up. Is that set up yet?
Not yet.
Get it together.
Still working on it.
We've been working together for a year.
Yeah.
Easy to do programming for people to follow at home.
Yeah.
Right? Where it's like, hey, phase 1, phase 2, phase 3 for running. I know what's your cycle? It's like 100, 150, 200, back to 100 is what you were doing.
Yeah.
But you can have like a basic warm up.
Yeah.
A base, like just a template.
Yeah.
And then people can follow it.
Yeah. I think that'd be good. I think we talked about this, like having a differentiator between like maybe people who want to get back into like sprinting and running fast, and then people who are actually been kind of doing it like for the part time.
Yeah.
So I think because those are going to be 2 very different programs. I think, especially for people who are maybe in the like, let's say their 40s or 50s and haven't been active lately. I think that's going to look a little different, but we can probably put something together for those people.
And then me helping you with a strength side, strength and mobility.
Yeah, good partnership with that. Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, so we'll get that going, and I'll keep you accountable. But you keep bugging us.
Okay.
All right, appreciate you coming on the show. People can find him at Retired Athletics, but what's the actual?
Yeah, so on Instagram, retired dot athletics, so retired period athletics.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Awesome. Cool. All right, thanks.
Thanks, guys.
Oh, it's so hard to get off the couch. There we go.